Hello friends, I'm your Rohith and welcome to Mind Minutes with Santhosh. Have you ever had a moment like this? A moment where you suddenly ask yourself, who am I really? You have a name, you have a good job, you have friends and family. From the outside, everything seems perfectly fine. But somewhere along the way, there comes a strange moment where you can't really define yourself anymore. A strange feeling. Life keeps moving forward, but it doesn't quite feel like your life. That feeling is what we call an identity crisis. And that's exactly what we are going to talk about today. An identity crisis is a phase where a person begins to question themselves deeply. Questions like, who am I really? What do I truly want in life? Is the life I am living right now something I actually chose? These kinds of questions start appearing in the mind. And interestingly, this phase usually appears during certain moments in life when you are in your 20s trying to figure out your direction, when you feel confused about your career, after a breakup or a major relationship change, or sometimes when life suddenly slows down. Because when life is extremely busy, we usually just follow routines. Wake up, work, repeat. That's barely any time to question ourselves. But when life suddenly becomes quiet, when there is a pause, that's when the mind starts looking inward. That's when introspection begins. In our society, there is a very common life pattern. Study in school, go to college, get a job, get married, settle down. Now, there is nothing wrong with following this pattern, but the real problem is sometimes we accept this path without ever choosing it ourselves. Let me tell you about my friend. He's a software engineer, good salary, nice office, stable life. One day we went out for coffee together, just a casual conversation. So I asked him, hey, how is life going? He told me, when I'm coding, my brain works perfectly. My education, my skills, my career, everything makes sense. But my heart stays silent. Because his real passion was photography. It was his childhood dream. But because of family pressure and social expectations, he chose the practical path, a software job. So his dream slowly turned into just a hobby, and this is something we see very often. A person might look successful from the outside, but if their real passion and their actual life don't align, one day a question will rise from within. Who am I really? What am I supposed to do with my life? And that's the moment an identity crisis begins. The psychologist Erik Erikson spoke about this in his theory of human development. He described an important stage called identity versus role confusion. According to him, when people enter young adulthood, they face a major psychological question. Who am I going to become? What direction should my life take? What truly interests me? During this stage, a person starts exploring their values, interests, and goals. If they eventually find clarity, they move forward with confidence. But if they don't, they may remain in a state of confusion, unsure about which path truly belongs to them. There are several reasons why identity crises happen. One of the biggest reasons today is comparison. Through social media, we constantly see other people's achievements, lifestyles, and success stories. And without even realizing it, we start comparing our lives with theirs. Then a quiet question appears in the mind. They have achieved so much. What am I doing with my life? That comparison slowly creates doubt about our own path, and that doubt can eventually lead to identity confusion. Another reason is living for approval. Many times the decisions we make are not actually for our happiness. Instead, they are based on questions like, what will society think? Will my parents feel proud? Will relatives judge me? Will people respect me? So sometimes we end up choosing a path that is completely opposite to our real interest, and slowly our life becomes less about who we are and more about what others expect from us. There is another interesting reason: comfort. Sometimes life isn't bad, the job is okay, the income is fine, life is stable, but it may not be your real dream either. It's just comfortable. Comfort feels safe, but sometimes that comfort slowly makes us forget our real passions, our dreams, and our true identity. An identity crisis doesn't arrive like a dramatic event. It usually grows slowly. You might start noticing small signs. Your work feels meaningless. Weekdays feel dull. Weekends feel like an escape. Even when you succeed, you don't feel satisfied. Sometimes you may be extremely busy, but inside there is still a strange silence. Let me ask you a simple question. The life you dreamed about 10 years ago, are you living that life today? Or have you changed? Or did life change you? Many people think an identity crisis is something negative, but actually it can be a sign of growth, because the moment you start questioning your life, that's the moment awareness begins. Think of a seed buried in soil. As long as it stays inside the soil, it feels safe, dark, comfortable, but at some point the seed has to break open. If it doesn't break, it will never become a tree. And identity crisis works the same way. Sometimes the old identity must break so a new identity can grow. If you truly want to discover your identity, try asking yourself 3 honest questions. First question, what gives me energy? What activity makes you lose track of time? Maybe it's writing, maybe music, maybe teaching, maybe creating something. When you do something that naturally brings excitement, curiosity, and satisfaction, that could be a clue to your real passion. Second question, who am I trying to impress? Many of our life decisions are not actually ours. They are performances. Performances for society, for family, for relatives, for friends. If your life is only about impressing others, then you are not living your identity. You are playing a role. Third question, would I still try even if I fail? There might be a dream you have. There is no guarantee of success. But if you still feel the urge to try, even if failure is possible, that dream might be closest to your real identity. And here is something interesting. The moments of deepest confusion in life often lead to the greatest clarity later. If you look at the stories of many entrepreneurs, artists, and writers, there is almost always a stage where they faced an identity crisis, and only after that phase they found their direction. So an identity crisis is not a problem. It's actually an invitation to rediscover yourself. So the next time you feel confused about life, don't be afraid. It might simply be the beginning of a new chapter, because clarity almost always comes after confusion. I'll see you again in the next episode. Until then, keep trying to discover who you truly are.